Okay, hello everyone on Second Life and welcome to our Saturday meditation talk session. A little to do with meditation today. We are going to continue with our card theme. Last week, well not last week, 2 weeks ago, we had Greece Cokes here talking about tarot, the tarot cards, and he did some readings for us. And Today we continue with top cards and this time Oracle and Angel cards. But before we start and before we introduce our guest, I want to use a few minutes just to get into the right mood, to center ourselves, to get a nice, grateful energy here. And we do that by a short heart-brain coherence meditation. So if you just want to, Don, if you want to mute your microphone, then we can get started. Thank you. Okay. So find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and let's start by taking a good, nice deep inhale and exhale and relax your muscles, relax your shoulders, loosen your jaw. Another nice deep inhale and exhale through your mouth fully and feel yourself getting centered, feel yourself getting ready. One more time, a nice good deep inhale. And exhale and relax. Breathe normally. Breathe a little slower and a little deeper than you usually would do. A little slower, a little deeper. Just to tell your body that it is in a safe place. Notice where you feel your breath the most as you follow your breath. Maybe you feel your breath the most in your nostrils, the back of your throat, or your chest or your tummy. Just notice where you feel your breath the most. And now focus on your heart space. You can put your fingers or your hand on your chest right there where your heart is to help you focus on your heart space. And imagine breathing through your heart. Nice and calm, nice and slow. Breathing through your heart like this creates more balance in your nervous system, calms your nervous system down. Just feel it. Very good. Now just get back to the group. Slowly getting back. Notice the room you are in. Notice any sounds in the room. Breathe normally again. Wiggle with your fingers and toes. And open your eyes and welcome back. And just notice how you feel right now before you started. Viersetica, welcome to you. Take a seat. We're just getting started. All right, so we did our little heart-brain coherence meditation. Just to balance, we have a special guest here today. Today we have Wytchwhisper Sadowski with us. She is a 45-year young, multifaceted artist, singer-songwriter, advisor, spiritually enlightened Wiccan, and comedic deviant from Canada. And many people know her. She has awesome performances here in Second Life, singing great music, always creating a good atmosphere. So follow her and join some of her performances. She's been singing in Second Life since 2009, and she also is called a torch singer by some, or a freaky fairy by others. She has a unique, sultry, sensuous, original, jazzy, alternative, oldies demanded pop rock sound at her shows, and she supplies unique, relaxing vocals, stress-reducing melodies, and life-changing knowledge. She's also been doing tarot readings since she was 13, and now she got into oracle cards and angel cards 6 years ago. So, Wytchwhisper, welcome to us.
Thank you, Elijah.
So, you've been going from tarot to oracle cards and angel cards 6 years ago, or do you still do tarot as well?
Yes, I've been doing tarot since I was 13. A lot of there's a lot of myths around tarot. In reality, they don't know where tarot entirely came from. I mean, there's like everybody has theories of where it came from. Some put it back to ancient Egypt. Some say the Knights Templar brought it into Europe. Some say that it sprouted from a game in Europe that the aristocrats were playing, and all of that may or may not be true. Well, we know some of it's true, but so, and it's the same with oracle cards actually, because oracle cards are dated, like they're more modern. They've been recognized more modernly recently, but even back when tarot was popular, there were other forms of divination that were called oracle cards or things like that. So now,
What made you become interested in the oracle cards? And did you first do oracle cards and then angel cards, or did you do them at the same time? What are the differences actually? What made you interested in going that direction?
well, I this is going to sound weird, but I was in, I guess I was kind of touched almost by angel cards before I went into oracle cards, because I was going into a store, like a new age store, and there was the fairy tarot cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, and they really caught my attention. And from what I understand, it's Radley's, he calls it his self-esteem deck, because it's quite positive and it is based off of traditional tarot, but he wanted to create cards that weren't scary to the general public, sort of thing, because he felt that traditional tarot cards were quite scary, like especially the death card and things like that. So he created a more positive deck. It still does have its negative cards that warn you of things that are upcoming and things like that. But the thing that I like about his spin on things is that he tries to he tries to make it seem like it's not insurmountable, you know. And the thing about actually any divination is we have free will. So when we're using divination cards, either fairy or oracle or angel cards or whatever we're using, we have to keep in mind that we can always change the path if we don't like it. Because what the cards tell us is they tell us this is your path and this is where it's going if you continue doing what you're doing right now. If you start to change your actions and do things differently, you will get different outcomes in the future. Like the cards are not set in stone what they tell you. It's just it's used as a tool, like almost like a life tool in order to better yourself and better your life. Sometimes people use, I branched into the oracle cards through Colette Baron Reed because I picked up I picked up one of her decks and I really liked it because it had negative like reversed cards as well, but it actually gave you advice on how to surmount the problems, sort of thing, and how you should maybe change your perspective on it and stuff like that. So,
I'm sorry, would you say that there is more advice in oracle cards than in the tarot? Or was it just that particular deck?
well, traditionally, the tarot just tells of things happening. It doesn't usually give you a lot of advice. Oracle cards are as much of a fortune teller as the tarot. It's just that they tend to give you advice on how you can change your perspective or how you can realign your energies. I mean, it depends what that deck is about because there's a huge range of oracle cards. Like anything you can think of can be made into an oracle deck. They don't have the main difference between the tarot cards and the oracle cards is the tarot cards have the traditional 78 cards in the deck, and they're all based on, like, they have a major arcana, and then they have the pip cards, or that they call them, whatever. And the oracle cards, they don't have necessarily any major arcana in them. They just have a certain number of cards that show you different aspects of life and things that you may encounter and things like that. The moon oracle cards works with phases of the moon and gives you advice on, like, based on that, based on astrology, sort of thing. And then, like, Doreen Virtue's romance angel cards are specifically geared towards like relationships and things like that. So it depends on, there's such a wide range of oracle um, topics that you can get into with the different cards. I've recently picked up some healing oracle cards that help you heal your body, and they're coming in the mail. I haven't actually officially received them yet, but you know, I was very pleased when I found them because I've been doing healing work in SL or with Aislinn and Luna, so it's been, you know, self-healing for everybody, I think, is a good thing.
Hmm,
Um,
absolutely. But
did
you
I
also
answer your
said,
question?
yeah, absolutely. And what you also said was, and that came back last week as well during the tarot cards, was that it is a tool. That's, I think, so fantastic because in my work with transformation meditation and manifestation work, I often get the question, what about the tarot cards? How can they help me? I mean, how does that fit into manifestation work? And I wasn't really sure And now I hear from you as well that oracle cards and angel cards do the same. They are a tool, and you can use them like as a sort of barometer. Like if you are in this state of being that you are in right now, if you continue in on that path, then the tarot cards, oracle cards, angel cards will tell you what path you are on. You get some hints, you get some instructions, you get some information on where you are heading. And if you don't like it, like you said as well, Wytchwhisper, if you don't like it, you in the oracle cards you can even get information on how you can change that, as I understand from you. So actually, these cards are great tools just to play around with and to test what your manifestation work. So I'm definitely going to try to get that more into my work as well. Just doing some readings with cards, inviting people over, maybe on some sessions that can read some cards to the people joining in. Fantastic. Um, so you said about self-healing cards that you get in the mail about, that are for self-healing. Do you want to help other people with it as well with the cards, or do you do other healing practices?
Well, you should be able to help others with the cards as well. They're you see the thing is that I was going to mention actually when you were talking about manifestation was Radley just did a seminar like last week, and he was actually talking about how you can manifest things using tarot decks. And you can do that by using a certain spread and choosing the cards that you want to happen, like the sort of things that you want to happen. Like if you wanted um, love to come into your life in the future, then you'd put the lover's card in that position and stuff like that. And he suggested taking a picture, like a photograph of the actual tarot spread that you can carry around with you on your phone or whatever and look at it. And it will help manifest that because it's almost like a small vision board, really.
Yeah, I just was
Yeah.
thinking about it
So,
as well. And it's like what we do in manifest. It's like tarot, but the other way around. You kind of forcing, or not forcing. You kind of laying the spread in front of you, as I understand it. This is what I want. This is what I want to happen. It's a great vision
exactly.
board thing. Yeah, that's a cool technique. And it's what we
Yeah.
do in
So,
manifestation work as well. I mean, we always say, yeah, create a feeling inside of you as if that what you want to happen already has happened.
exactly. Yeah. And he said that that's a good way to do it. And he mentioned too that you have to embrace the feeling of what you want. Like if you want love, you have to, like you always say in meditation, think of a time when you experience that, and so you can associate that emotion with that future event, even though, like you said, it's you think of it happening right now, sort of thing. So, and in regards to the healing, like, see, that's what I love about the cards is they're tools and they're multi usage tools because you can use them not only for divination, you can use them for personal self help. You can use them to help others when you give readings for others. Um, Maybe if others are suffering physical ailments. I mean, like, I haven't got the healing deck yet, but it's quite possible that it would be able to identify some of that. Sure, Dawn, feel free to ask something.
Dawn is writing, it seems. Okay. Dawn is asking, with healing and Reiki, power of eight, you don't have to believe in it. Is that the same for cards?
Well, the cards tap into your energies, sort of thing. So if you're doing a reading for somebody that has conflicting energies, then you're going to get a conflicted reading. Like you're going to get a reading that isn't necessarily accurate sort of thing. But if you have somebody who's seriously looking for certain answers to certain questions, and that's where their energy is flowing, then you're more likely to get an accurate reading with that person. That's why I tend to not do readings for perfect strangers, because you don't know where they're coming from, whether they're approaching you with a, oh yeah, like I don't believe in this crap sort of mentality, or not sort of thing. So
Yeah, it's important that you have the right intention, I guess, and that's both for the person coming to you and for yourself, I guess.
see, the thing about oracle card creation too is they say that, like, a lot of the people who've created oracle cards are actually listening to spirit, and spirit is telling them what to put down for meanings and stuff like that, so that people can utilize them with these generalized meanings of each card, and how it reflects to their life, sort of thing.
Yeah, because there are like a lot of types of oracle decks and angel cards, and well, maybe not angel cards. Are they more the same? Like you only have a certain amount of angels.
Well, right now, Radley Valentine is one of the big angel people. He's he's making angel tarot decks, and he's making archangel decks, oracle card decks, and so he's working a lot with the angels. But even like with the angels, the meanings, their clothing, symbology can be different depending upon where you read the information. So I really think that when you're out there and you're looking for a deck, you have to find a deck that resonates with you, like that you're really drawn to, sort of thing, because that will be the deck that is most accurate for you, sort of thing. Whereas if you're just listening to me and I'm like, oh, go get the fairy tarot deck or something, that may not resonate with you. But at the time that I needed it, it completely resonated with me. And the meanings were very accurate. And so, because it's like human beings with religion, there's so much out there that can be interpreted differently or whatever. When you're going upon your own journey and your own path, you have to choose what tools are right for you.
Correct. That's absolutely true. Uh, Dawn asked a good question as well. I think she means like if you have like a lot of like say 5 decks of oracle cards, and someone comes to you and wants a reading, do you pick the deck that is right for this person, or do you just pick your favorite deck that's good for you?
I personally tend to choose decks that resonate with that person. Like I did a reading not too long ago for a friend, and for her I used my Akashic Tarot, my Romance Angel cards, and my Fairy Tarot, because I knew that the questions that she was asking kind of revolved around those specific decks and their energies, sort of thing. So I felt that I was able to give her a more accurate reading with those various cards. And that's the great thing about different decks. Like, you can mix angel cards with tarot cards, and you can mix oracle cards with angel and tarot cards to create various readings. It enhances the whole reading experience, because you get different perspectives on different things
Yeah,
that
of
are
course,
happening
yeah.
in that person's life.
Mm, it's so interesting. So, what do you say? Should we do an open mic? Is there some? If there's some questions, just speak up and ask your question. or write it in the chat. Sure, Don, go ahead.
How did you come to this? I mean, most 13, 12-year-old uh, persons don't start with tarots. Did you get interested in it?
Oh, well, my grandmother was doing gung he fut choi and tarot for herself when I was around that age. And I got interested in it because I found it really fascinating and it resonated with me as true. And it's funny because I come from a very Christian background. I grew up Christian and everything else. And it wasn't until I was 16 that I found Wicca. And Wicca seemed to be the path that was more appropriate for me, sort of thing. But in my journey to get there, I was introduced to the tarot by my grandmother, and she is Christian as well. And it was just a natural progression, sort of thing. I had friends in school try to burn my cards. Actually, one girl did burn my cards because she thought they were possessed by the devil and stuff like that. But you know, uh, you get through it.
That's not a regular combination, Christianity and tarot cards.
Well, that's the great thing about divination is you can use divination with almost any religion that you're in, sort of thing, because they're just a tool to help you with your life. They're not, I mean, some religions believe that, you know, depending on the preacher that you're talking to at the time, they might believe that divination tools are tools of the devil or blah, blah, blah. But see, there is one thing that Radley Valentine does say. He says that when you're doing tarot cards, you should put yourself in a protective bubble because the spirit world can affect uh, anything that you're doing, sort of thing. Like it's like using a Ouija board. If you're not in a protective bubble, and if you're not in a protective bubble when you're using the cards, it's said that negative spirits can affect the outcome of the cards with their energies if they're around you or in your presence, sort of thing. So there's always that to think about as well.
That's important, and it is also to do with your state of being. When you create such a protective bubble, you create a state of being where you're stronger, where you are more protective of yourself as well. So it sounds pretty familiar and awesome. Any more questions from other people? If not, I have a question, and you're allowed to say no, Wytchwhisper, but would you like to read some cards for people here? Or just in general?
I guess I could.
I'm gonna give it a
It
try.
would depend on who approaches me to which deck I would choose, but
Any volunteers?
I also, in the note card that I gave you links to
Free readings.
the reading websites as well that you can check out. And you can do those readings at any time.
Post them in the chat. John says, Dawn says, my family always told me I'm sometimes too curious. Are you too curious now too? You want Wytchwhisper to read some cards for you, Dawn, or should you do it for me? Just general about the future.
See, I use various forms of divination as well. Like I've used the I Ching and I've used the Gung He Fut Choi cards. But I don't think curiosity is a bad thing, sort of thing, because like you said, Don, you'll never learn and discover new things if you're not curious. So
Do you have a specific question, Dawn? They were curious, something specific you were curious about, or
It's all new for me, so I'm not sure what to ask, but I just want to know what it is.
You want to know what you're curious about?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Well,
Well, I'm
we can do my
about
cards.
what other people think of me, or what other people see in me, or whatever.
Oh, that's okay.
There are actually tarot spreads that you can do that tell you information like that, like that people have created. There's a book called Power Tarot that I highly recommend to anybody. It's got like thousands of tarot spreads in it. It's just amazing. And you can create your own spreads as well. Like if you have certain questions that you want answered, you can write down those questions and then assign them to different card spaces and then do the reading that way and see if the card that falls in place of that makes sense with what you're asking, sort of thing.
I have a specific question. Not that you want to read the cards for this, but I'm a bit curious that. Well, let me say first what's going to happen. I have applied for another job, and I'm not sure that if I'm getting an offer, and I will take it. If I now ask you about that job, will I take that job or not, or is there a job change or a career change in my future? Will that influence my choice of taking that job or not? Because I'm afraid that will influence my choice. Like if the cards say yes, you have a career change in your near future, then I would be more prone to saying, okay, I'm taking this new job when I get the offer, instead of maybe listening to my heart, which I'm used to, like using my intuition. And I use that at the moment I get like an offer. Then I use, okay, is this good for me or not? So would it influence me if you lay the cards for me now and read them?
Well, there's a spread that is like, should I take this path or should I take this path? And it can tell you the results of each path that you take. And then from there, you can decide which one would be better. And the thing is the more you do cards for yourself and for other people, the more you'll realize there are times when you're not perfect because you're human. And sometimes your own feelings or the feelings of the person you're doing the reading about can actually influence the cards, sort of thing. So sometimes false readings do occur, sort of thing. So it is something to be aware of. That does happen occasionally, sort of thing. Because it's just a tool that we're using, kind of like using numerology or using astrology or anything like that. Like we're kind of trying to plot our futures. And I'm gonna pull some
While you
numerology cards.
while you do that, I'm going to say, because there's I think an important lesson there. What Wytchwhisper said. She says it is a tool, and also it isn't like uh, error proof or something like that. So, like she said, her own state of being, her own feelings can interfere with the results. So use it as a tool, and don't like put your whole life on hold just because of what the cards say. And that I think that Grease Cokes that last time as well when they're doing the tarot reading, um, that you still have to think for yourself. You still have to determine yourself what you're going to do. You have free will. Don't let the cards run your life.
Yes, free will is very important. I agree. Now, the cards that fell for you, mantra where your hard work is paying off, believe in the impossible, and adjustments are required. So you have to interpret that as to how that speaks to you.
Oh, that speaks to me perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the one when you said adjustments are required. I like that a lot. That gives me an extra kick in the butt to do some changes. Very well. I like that. Thank you so much.
And that's the Moonology Oracle cards. So if you ever wanted to pick them up yourself, you could.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Well, then I would say, Wytchwhisper, thank you so much for being here and having an awesome talk about Oracle cards and Angel cards. And it was an eye-opener for me, at least, especially compared to the Tarot. It is a tool. Please make sure that you understand it. It's a tool. You have to think for yourself, of course, make your own decisions, but it's a very useful tool, also for manifestation work. So awesome, thank you very much. Again, this will be recorded. I will post some more links in the chat for you guys to go after. Please do follow her.
And I just wanted to add, if anyone has questions that they want to approach me about after this, please don't hesitate, because I'm happy to tell you what I know. I'm happy to share my knowledge with people.
That's a very good thing. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. We'll be back again in 2 weeks. The theme I don't know yet, but I'm getting a feeling that it will be about healing modalities. So I think that will be a nice thing to continue on. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and day. Take good care and namaste.